This is Ken Ferry with this week's Boots in the Field. Kind of a mixed week as far as weather goes. The cool, cloudy weather wasn't the best for the kind of finish that we're looking for on this beans and corn. Probably give up a little bit there, but looking like next week sounds better. We're going to be pushing these temperatures up into the 90s with some sunshine, and that's gonna help quite a bit too, especially on the soybeans itself. If it does get up in the 90s next week, though, we're going to see some big changes in these cornfields. Some of them you can see it starting already. But as we've talked about before, stress after tasseling tends to speed up maturity. The massive amount of disease and nitrogen stress that we're dealing with here, this corn is trying to hustle itself up to get done. And if we do get up into the 90s next week, that will cause fields to change very rapidly. So what they look like today compared to what they'll look like next Friday, there's going to be some big changes. We're going to see this thing go to ripen and try to finish up. So we're going to see some big moves there. It's time to start doing the push test. In a situation where some of these fields we're getting anywhere from 3 to 6 per thousand that are failing already. So you guys don't take it for granted it's going to wait for you. Go out there and figure out which fields are going to have to be harvested first. We got a number of guys that are looking at starting next week, so we'll kind of follow up with them and see how that early harvest is going here in moisture checks anywhere from 32% on down to 21 that they're checking right now. So I expect that if that's the case, we'll see a number of fields getting opened up next week, especially in the area to the south. In the soybeans, the aphid counts are still climbing, so you guys need to keep an eye on the soybean fields for the aphid itself and the stink bug. Don't let that sneak up behind you and catch us here at the end. The sudden death is now visible from the road, and you're going to see more of that next week and the next 2 weeks as conditions start to change and these beans start to move more towards ripening. And what you'll see is unevening of the amount of ripening in the field. It won't be the whole field turning uniformly. You'll see areas in the field starting to die well ahead of the rest of the field, and that would be your indicator of the sudden death itself. Did some traveling this week. We just got back from Ohio and central Indiana, spent some time in the fields in both places. Crops look kind of tough. We checked corn yields in northwest Ohio from 130 to 200 bushel, but most of them in that 130, 140 range. In Defiance County, Ohio, it is said to be over 40,000 acres of prevented plant in one county, and that definitely looked to be the case. A lot of unplanted corn. The beans are short. Beans actually look pretty good for what they've been through, but they're going to be short, and they're going to be short on yield as well. We were in the fields near Marion, Indiana. Corn looks pretty tough there too. It just flat out run out of nitrogen, pretty yellow. Beans are very short in that situation itself, so kind of makes you feel a little bit more at ease with the crop that we have around here when you see some of this tougher stuff. I do plan on being in the farm show on Wednesday, so probably see some of you guys there. But other than that, we'll talk to you next week and keep it safe.